Er, Hello. How we doing? Turn the music down a little bit. Let you guys get in here. It's cold. I'm cold. I'm sleepy. But it's another day, another dollar, another slate of NBA DFS. Just cut the music. Man, oh man. Was last night was so weird for me because my pool was there, but I cored some bums, man. Took some bigger stands on like complete and utter bust, and there was a lot of chalk bust last night. But man, I was like overly invested, especially on FanDuel, and like Buddy Hield, Rashawn Holmes, Sadiq Bey, like some of these mid-tier core plays that I just thought were there for me. They weren't there for me. So that was a yikes. Yesterday though, a lot of chalk busts all across the board, and then a couple chalks that smack. So I'm gonna say there'll be days like that. Luka Doncic, your beast of the night, 71.5 DraftKings points. Price was too low on DK. Matchup too soft. It was his best matchup of the year. Best game of the year. Julius Randle, 62, second highest scoring player on the slate. And then, like I said, on FanDuel, he just continues to be far too cheap at 8K. So I was in on that. And then past that, man, maybe that Milwaukee-Detroit game stayed a little bit closer than a lot of people expected. We got 36 minutes out of Giannis. Massive game out of him. Malcolm Brogdon talked about how I liked him to still be able to hit at his price point. It was an uncomfortable click, but at 7.9K, like he was able to muscle his way to almost 60 fantasy points, which was great. Fred VanVleet, I like the uptick for him without Marcus Smart. He's always my number one Raptor. Tatum without Teague, Smart, picked up the slack. Curry did his thing. 9.3K. The top, there's really not surprises to me at the top of the slate last night. It was just some of the mid-tier fringe value, or even just like core guys that I didn't think could bust. Like they got me. But like so many of these top guys were guys that I had my eyes on yesterday. But what are you gonna do? Man, is my chat? Are we just dead today? Where are we at, peeps? Let me get Raj up in here, and then we will get this crap over with. Here.
Yo. How you feeling after last night?
It was not a good night. But I just went over the top scorers last night. Like I was there on all these guys. Like there was no surprises. It's just my lineups were the foundation of my lineups were just like some value that this just died. Like Buddy Hield, Rashawn Holmes, Sadiq Bey were just complete and utter trash. So what can you do though?
Holmes killed. I was pretty strong in all my core plays too, but Holmes just killed some good lines in John Wall. It's like one or two pieces away. Every lineup was annoying.
Yeah. I don't know if I don't think anyone's in chat. Like my numbers are so low right now. I don't know what that's about, but yeah. So the one night you had a couple takes beat mine. No one's here to see it. So
I feel like we have first the Harrison Barnes take, then we had a couple takes. With Aaron Gordon. Sorry,
that's not a take though. So Aaron Gordon was only ever about minutes.
Yeah.
I never thought that he was a bad play based on salary or anything else. I guess he only played 28 minutes anyway, so yikes. I mean, again, like last night, if you tell me 28 minutes is his ceiling, I probably don't play him.
How was Kelly Olynyk 10% owned? I need to understand that logic.
He was 10% owned?
He was 10% owned in my tournament. I don't know what was going on.
I don't know.
And like he was in every winning lineup. I don't know how people got to him. Like maybe as a 1-2%er, but he was 10% owned. So I don't know if we missed something or.
I don't know. I guess Myers Leonard kicked to the curb. Yeah, I don't know. 10% though? Like that's wild.
Yeah.
I didn't have him on the radar. Bro, is chat? Am I tripping or like there's not a single word in chat? Am I canceled? I'm scared. if
YouTube algorithm
streamer
letting them know.
if streamer streams to nobody in chat, does it happen? Anyway, tonight's slate a lot smaller, easier to get your hands across, and control a lot what's going on. Let me open up YouTube on the main page here, just to double check. I might have the wrong. Maybe I just have the wrong chat open. I don't know. Streamer streams. Test. Oh no. Stream is popping. Hold up, my bad, chat. I got the wrong chat open somehow. Bro, I was so sad over here. I was like, where is my chat? All right, give me a second, chat. Let me get you on the main screen. Hold on. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you that starting soon screen for a second. Actually, no. I guess we just gotta go ahead and do it. Some little movie magic here, chat. Bro, I was so sad. I was like, is no one in chat hanging out with me right now? What do I do? There we go, chat. Every day to start off, there's something. Okay, now we're good. Now we can catch up on chat. What's up, E-Money? We were definitely right about Bronson last night. Bronson? I don't know about that one. What up, Justin Sports, Quan, Young C, Earth to Air, 450 off of 25. Nice. Crispy. Stacked Hawks and Knicks, cash on DK and Yahoo. Let's go. Pinstripe Pimp. What up, Doe? Finally caught it from the beginning. Hey, man. I think these shorter slates are going to be easy for some of you guys to catch because you guys voted late streams for short slate, so that's coming. Aaron, what up, Aaron Van Jones? Cash on FanDuel, busting on DK value tonight. Daniel Gafford, okay. Jamil getting off Pritchard killed me last night. Oh God. Man, that Pritchard versus Sadiq Bey. Oh.
Let me tell you. Especially when everyone jumped to the other guy who was starting for Boston. I loved it.
Tremont Waters.
Came in lower owned. It was beautiful.
That was tough. What are you going to do? That got me, chat. I put my money where my mouth was, and I didn't. So again, I was trying to. I didn't hate Pritchard. I just preferred Bay in a 1v1. Not the move at all. But also when I saw that Waters was starting, I was like, man, that's probably good for Pritchard because now he doesn't have to share the usage immediately with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. A lot of people think backwards in that scenario. They're like, oh, he's not starting. No, him off the bench is likely the better scenario for our fantasy production. Kelly O Goat got ruled starting late. Okay, well I still wouldn't have played him. Like Olenek, Mo Harkless, Myers Leonard. Like I probably would have jumped to him. Olenek has these type of games though. He wasn't 10% at my contest though. Raj just got bad luck on that one. I don't know.
It wasn't the big four at 20 entry $4.
I guess we're talking DK where you're pinching penny for value, sure. On FanDuel, nobody's playing Kelly Olynyk. Mr. Portugal, what's up, dude? Kelly was 13% in your tournament. Man, that's tough. Some of us are here gun. Nah, that's my bad, Corey. I had the wrong chat open. I don't know how I did that, but then I had the wrong chat displayed on the stream. I was just sitting here. I literally sitting here like, oh, I suck. No one watching me anymore. All right. Hey, Doranzo, who got that Wayne Ellington, Willie Cauley-Stein late swap? That Willie Cauley-Stein pivot was nice. That news came out late, too. Wayne Ellington's another one of those guys like Reggie Bullock. Like, I don't think I would have ran to play him. But Willie Cauley-Stein, we know historically, looking back at his Kings days, could be a point-per-minute guy. So if the Mavs were just trying to shake it up and put him out there, that was a good, I applaud that one. Like, I didn't have to go after because FanDuel, I was just stuck at center, but I certainly would have preferred him over Rashawn Holmes, man. He got me. Mr. Portugal says, I had Robert Williams at 0.3.4%. He killed it. And Pritchard, Doncic, Randall, good for 3,700. Let's go. What up, Gun? I almost took down yesterday on FanDuel. I had Curry, Pritchard, Ross, healed. Oh, it could have been Jetty Osman. There's a play right there, bro. There's a play right there that he's just never fun to play. Dante Exum got injured minutes into the game. Jetty Osman came out and like played so much, but not only just played. Like it wasn't one of those Jetty Osman games where the minutes got him there. My man had like 28 fantasy points at half, and I was like, he's already looking like the nuts, and it's only halftime at his price. So good play there, Damian. Jeremy Grant, Giannis, Randall, Wiseman. The blowouts do hurt a lot. What up, Lenny? Hall of Fame member Lenny. Appreciate your love and support. Lenny, do you have, since you upgraded, you have the emotes to flex on the haters that look like this? We got the fade, hot take, and lock. So if you guys upgrade to a channel membership, you get these custom emotes, kind of like what Twitch does. So anytime Raj has a hot take, you're like, hot take alert, yeah. And then if you say, I don't know, KD is out, so Kyrie is a, and then you put the lock button, right? Boom. Oh, fire emotes. That's what we do. I'm gonna probably sweep back through the perks of the channel memberships on YouTube. It is a separate entity than RunDFS.com, so it's really just a way to show support. But we do have I have a couple of private videos. That sounds ridiculous. Members only videos, and I got a few more that I can add. Now it's just there isn't a lot of channel members, so the content has been kind of low, right? Are you projecting Desmond Bane any minutes? I'll look for you real quick. We're gonna go game by game here in a minute. Oh shoot! I just effed it up. Desmond Bean. I got him at 21 minutes. So I think I saw John Concher is out. So him and D'Anthony Melton probably pick up the mix there, right? Let's talk about some basketball. We have a late. I don't know why I just did that. Okay. This mic is so fun. Because I can just like lean in and talk to it. By the way, we did get the chat. You guys were here with me yesterday, right? I told you the story. I had 2 deliveries yesterday: a gaming monitor and my PS5. The gaming monitor was just a straight up delivery from Best Buy. There was nothing like I wasn't supposed to sign for it. Nothing. Guy gets here like 11 in the morning, knocks on my door. It's like, hey man, I didn't want to just leave this out here. I was like, bro, that's what's up. Appreciate you. And he gives me the thing. Don't have the PS5 yet. I get on the air. I'm like, man, I'm pretty sure this PS5. Like, I just had a feeling that they would come in the middle of my stream. But the way me and Chronic set it up was I had to sign for it. Like, no way does this PS5 just sit anywhere. You have to knock on the door, make me sign for it, hand it to me. This is you know, it's expensive. Nothing, right? And we're in the middle of pre-log voice chat, and Chronic goes, bro, it says it's been delivered and you signed for it. I was like, what? Excuse me? What was that? And he read Bunbacker. Like the dude forged my signature and misspelled my name. And my heart dropped. I was like, no way. I just got okie doked. So I go outside, open a door, sitting on the ground. I live in an apartment complex, just on the ground. It's my PlayStation 5, and it was out there for hours, just sitting there, bro. I was so tilted. I was so mad, scared, all the same. But it works. It's fine. But chat, at FedEx, bro, you gotta do better. Anyway, I just wanted to vent on that. Anyway, let's talk about some basketball, guys. Short slate, game number 1. Late lock, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Extra 30 minutes between normal lock. Utah Jazz at the Brooklyn Nets. Project starting 5 for the Jazz. Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Bojan Bogdanovic, Royce O'Neal, Rudy Gobert taking on Kyrie Irving, Joe Harris, Timothy Luwawu, Taurean Prince, and DeAndre Jordan. Kevin Durant out for this one. 225.5 star total, 4.5 point spread in favor of the Utah Jazz. Normally I just come out here and run some usage rates, but right, you play Kyrie, right? There's no Kevin Durant. Past Kyrie, you start getting a little bit curious with some of these other supplementary plays. Timothy Luwawu, doggone cheap on DraftKings, $3,700 right now. I got him over 30 minutes, so I don't mind going his way for some filler. On FanDuel, 4,600 for Joe Harris is a nice price, and then on both sides, I think Karis LeVert hits just fine or has the potential to hit at that price as well. I will maybe run that usage rate just to kind of see LeVert's mix here. So what I'm going to do is go to the on-off court tool on Fantasy Labs. We'll take Kevin Durant off. And I just want to put Kyrie and LeVert on just in case. I do think that there's obviously going to be some staggerooskies between them. That's Karis LeVert and Kyrie. Put them on. There's only 14 minutes of overlap, so that's not even worth looking at. Let me just put LeVert on and Kyrie off. Usage rate, LeVert's at 37%, 109 minutes. So I like LeVert too. I think Kyrie's obviously going to soak all of the attention and chalk, but LeVert should hit all the same. And then the Brooklyn Nets, if you go to the team metrics tab, and I guess we'll look at defensive rating first. Brooklyn has been a little bit above league average, but you got to believe a lot of their good defense, at least in this breath, probably is stemming from Kevin Durant. I do think Taurean Prince is an above average defender too, but I do think their defense stands to reason to take a step backwards. Rebound rates for the Nets, Brooklyn. We've got a 21.1% offensive rebound rate and just a 72% defensive rebound rate. So Rudy Gobert's in a nice spot to pick up some extra boards here, maybe 15 to 18. So I like I like the obvious plays here, but what I hate about this is like the obvious plays. Everyone's on them. Is there any way to even get different in this game, or do we just soak the chalk? I think maybe the Jazz become the keys. Like, is it Conley versus Donovan Mitchell? Is paying $7K for Conley the wave? It's uncomfortable. He's only $500 difference between Mitchell. Yikes.
On the Brooklyn side, you just got to play Kyrie Irving. Just lock him in, especially 5-game slate. TLC, he probably won't start. I mean, he's kind of like their.
I got him in the projected starting lineup. Like, he might.
I think isn't it Torian? Prince may start.
I got Prince at the 4, Luwawu at the 3.
Oh, okay, and Karis LeVert. Okay, that can happen too. Okay, yeah, so if he starts, you play him. I think Karis LeVert's interesting. Like, people are gonna play him. He should have all the usage on the second unit. Close out the game too if it stays close. I could see him maybe not smashing at 6'6". I wouldn't be shocked. So, obviously still going to have some of him, but maybe under the field. But other than that, it's play the guys. Just play Kyrie, play TLC. I mean, could a Joe Harris go off over TLC? Sure. But I think
so Joe Harris is on FanDuel very interesting at 4,600 because I do think 15 shot attempt, like Taurean Prince and Law was all right, but like Taurean Prince is not someone I'm expecting a lot of offense from. DeAndre Jordan versus Gobert is like a wash. So, like, in this starting unit, I think Joe Harris probably takes the second most shot attempts behind Kyrie, and probably the third most behind, like, LeVert and Kyrie. So, I think at 4,600, there is meat on the bone. On 56, the question is tougher, right? Because he's going to be more scoring dependent than not, more often than not. So, do I get 18 real points out of him on FanDuel and a couple peripherals? I think it's possible. But those same 18 points and a couple peripherals on DK could just be 24 to 30. There's a very consistent string of 30, and I do think he benefits from Kevin Durant being on the court, some more wide open looks. So that's something to keep in mind. I like him more on FanDuel than DK. I think that's like my stance here. But $1,000, I might be splitting hairs. And then I think Luwawu is a great stocking stuff for 3,700. On the Jazz side, Royce O'Neal is averaging over 8 rebounds a game, which is like crazy. This is one of those like just go out there play some defense guys last year, but with 8+ rebounds a game as a quote unquote floor so far, I think there's a shot. Oh, man, 5K. Okay, maybe not 5K. Okay, maybe 4,500 on FanDuel because he can get a defensive peripheral or what have you. I was just really shocked that he's averaging that many rebounds a game right now. I don't feel like there's a lot of meat on the bone at his price point. And if he goes up against Taurean Prince, like this Nets lineup could be different. But Taurean Prince last year, as the starter for the Nets, was allowing amongst the fewest fantasy points per game to opposing power forward. So it's not really a spot that I'm running to play. But I think Conley, Mitchell, and Bojan. It seems likely that one of those guys is great, one of those guys is good, one of those guys is a fade. And that might be the key to this game. If you had to rank
Mike Conley, it's man at that price. Like he's been playing well this year. Definitely a new Mike Conley seems like from last year. But I mean, like you mentioned earlier, deciding between him or Mitchell probably has a big game. One of them, or even the Bogdan. Does he have that repeat? Close
right,
to
that's what I'm saying. Like I think one of those three, great. One of those three, good. One of those three's got 20.
How do you pick? I mean, I think Bogdan's the least consistent, obviously.
Yeah.
Best price.
I don't know.
Is Mike Conley my favorite there? I mean, Mitchell just hasn't shot the ball too well. I mean, last game he was fine. I mean, Mitchell's probably the most. Has he even been the most consistent though?
Yeah, consistent is a tough word with this team right now because Conley's had some big games, right?
He
For
has.
fantasy. Conley's probably the most
Kyrie.
consistent. Yeah. All right, let me run those three as is: Conley, Mitchell, and Bojan, just on this season. 26% usage on Mitchell, 25.6 for Conley. Gobert's at over 20. Bojan's the least. So Bojan probably could argue your way out of. I think it's Mitchell and Conley's the coin flip here. I don't really see them coexisting at this price point.
Yeah, I don't see both of them going off for sure.
So I don't know. We might just have to get a little scummy with it and script both of them and maybe a couple of game stacks. But I'll probably put some rules out there to give me one or the other. Chat, what are you guys doing with this one? Celia says I think it's Kyrie, Luwawu, Joe Harris, Taurean Prince, and DJ. That's what I got. LeVert 6-man. Yeah, I think LeVert will come off the bench no matter what. LeVert's still gonna play starter minutes. He'll probably play more minutes than a Luwawu or something like that. But I think that's just their plan. Come off the bench, stagger with Kyrie, and easily win 6-man of the year unless there's a blockbuster trade that involves him and somebody. Refuse to roster Bojan. I'm with that. Bojan's definitely the riskiest, but if you look at those three, which one of those guys is going to give you 20 to 30 real points? It's one of those three, and it seems most likely that it's either going to be a Conley or a Mitchell. And I guess Mitchell's price is dropping. If you think we've paid over 8K for Donovan Mitchell in years past, and minutes in neutral games is at 35, 36 minutes.
I think Mike Conley probably has the highest double-double upside, though, those guys.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But, yeah, look how many games where Mitchell just has 20-plus real points. And at this price point, he's still not, amazing you. I do think, it could change going forward. If you look at some of these matchups, too, put some context to it. Portland, a 20-point blowout. Minnesota was yikes, and he, 40s, 6 for 23. His shot is just, not good. Yeah. And then there's a lot of blowouts in between, and the Phoenix Suns a tough matchup. So this could be a spot where he wakes up. It's definitely there. Do I put him in my single entry right now? I'm probably going to put that on the back burner and think about it. But him and Conley, I think, is the debate for me, and I don't think I want both. Chad, if you're different there, let me know. E-Money says, what about Clarkson? Jordan Clarkson is at a tough price where there's not a whole lot of meat left on the bone. I need that 30 fantasy points. It's very viable. And on these short slates, it's okay to just hit value. Don't get that twisted. I know I'm really greedy when it comes to fantasy points, but I'm just saying at 5,200, the floor is not fantastic. 25 is just really uninspiring. So at 52, I would really want north side of 30 fantasy points. It's possible in this matchup. But just not as fiscally alluring. I like him more when he's 4K. Jeff Green, you like? Okay. Let's not forget, this is the Jazz. Clarkson's still Clarksoning his. What do you mean by that? It's the Jazz. Just a tougher... The Jazz, oh man, look at these rebound rates for the Jazz. This is ridiculous. Hard to pick between Mitchell and Conley. I think that's the sweat. Jordan looked good for 30 minutes. DeAndre Jordan or Jordan Clarkson? Clarkson sneaky.
Question
I
sneaky.
mean, in the context of like DFS, if you mean sneaky, like is he a low owned piece of this game? Sure.
I mean, he's 5'2". He's giving you mid-20s. Like, I mean, he has like a 20-point floor and it seems like a 30-point ceiling. It seems like
Yeah. Who's
right now.
my favorite play in this game? If I had to tier it, Damian, 1 Kyrie, 2 Karis LeVert. What the f was that? 1 Kyrie, Karis LeVert. I want to say that it might be, if you want to talk sneaky, what about Jarrett Allen off the bench, right? Going against less Gobert, picking up maybe some scoring that KD's leaving out there. Like if you really want to get different, 5,800. Look at some of these games. 37 against Washington. Washington, we're not comparing to Utah. There's a couple 30 bombs in there. I don't know. It's not something I'm pressing or anything like that. But there's been some spots for Jarrett Allen to kind of pop. So I don't want to give up the center spot more than anyone else. But if I had to rank my, let's go top 5 in this game. If I just had to pick 5 names, Kyrie 1, Karis LeVert 2, Gobert 3. Gobert just has such a strong floor, and the rebounding mismatch is ridiculous. Like the look at this, the Nets, 21% offensive rebound rate, 72% defensive rebound rate. You take out Kyrie, like Gobert could have 20 rebounds here. So those 3 would be my top
Have
3.
you flashed the upside game yet?
Who, Gobert?
Yeah.
I mean, a 7-7, I'll take 45. I think 45 is really realistic here. I think my soft projection. I mean, you do, but also like you think about this slate for a second. How many games are like blowout spreads? Like this game could. This slate's already kind of set up to be wonky. Also, the Nets are giving up 51.4 points in the paint per game. So if we go to team metrics here, points in the paint allowed. Brooklyn's giving up the 4th most points in the paint per game. What do you think Rudy Gobert is getting his scoring? Rudy Gobert could be the smash. So those are my 1 through 3. And then 4 and 5 would be the coin flip on Conley and Donovan Mitchell. And that's all I got to say about that. Greg Fields, Conley contributes more statistical category. Conley is definitely going to get there on peripherals. It definitely seems like the safer between him and Mitchell. But, I mean, even this year, his upside's been higher. I think it's dangerous to get a little too matter-of-factly with short sample size, 5-6 games, because we know that Mitchell can get there, and maybe Mitchell and Kyrie put on a little back-and-forth show. But just dealing with what we have right now, I think it's...
I like that Rudy Gobert call.
Gobert should be, like...
I don't think he'll be that popular.
You don't think so? I mean, it was center. Jokic, yeah, AD. I mean, Gobert, that's an easy play. What? I can get credit for Gobert? That's an easy one. Gobert on the Utah stuff for sure. Slower paced team historically and pretty solid defensively. Oh, for Utah. Yeah, that is correct. I know Jake's mentioned a few times that Utah's been looking to play a little faster, but so far their pace is still amongst the slowest in the league. So maybe we'll see that come out a little bit. Russell Nails will play 8 rebound floor against the worst front court in the NBA. Laurent, I like that a lot. When I say a lot, I don't mean I like it a lot because of his price, but I like the way you're thinking. Interesting that it's sneaky. Normally I play Allen to faster paced matchups. I would agree. Gun locking down on Gobert. Oh, Big Mike. Mike, every day in the VIP voice chat, pre-lock.
But just the thing on Karis LeVert too, he's been having a pretty poor year. Like shooting percentage wise,
it's fine.
He's not shooting that well. Even in his big game, 12 for 29. I wouldn't be shocked if he has a bit of a letdown game here.
I'm playing him.
Yeah, I'm playing him. I just have a bad. It's one of those things where like I honestly don't want to play him. And
no, what?
Stand,
you're on an island right there. There's no way I'm not.
There's some pivots.
Okay. The pivots. Damien, what do you think about Conley on FanDuel Gun limited options? Yeah, so FanDuel becomes more of a raw point pick'em, and Conley's just like exposure to this game. Obviously, Kyrie's at the tippy top. Jamal Murray's gonna have a case for him today. Run back those points from that same game, but Conley at 7K, like it's so odd to play Conley at 7K. But I think like if in this slate, in the context of this slate, looking at this player pool for point guard, like there's going to be guys that maybe go for 4.5, 5x value and still get there. So Conley might just be playable in that regard. It's not a warm and fuzzy click, though. Give me all the, obviously, Kyrie, right? The power forward's tough. Why is no one mentioning Favors? I know he's a Q-Tech, but he could smash his price. Derek Favors, there's a hero ball play.
I mean, yeah.
He is
3,800. The Kelly Olynyk player of the day.
There's your sneaky play. Clark's is not sneaky. That's a sneaky one. I like that. That's fun. I can see that. Favors? Center spot, though. 15, 24, 18. I don't think you're crazy. Like, that could be a tournament win and play, Craig. I love that call. Good call. I like that. All right, Lakers at the Memphis Grizzlies. Next game on the docket. 9-point spread here. So this slate's about to get wishy-washy, right? 4.5-point for Utah. But look, we got a 9-point spread, a 10.5-point spread, a 9.5-point spread, a 9.5-point spread. This slate could just be another day of blowouts in the NBA. So it just forces you to really be focused on that Utah game, and it's an annoying slate. Like I don't remember last time I'd seen a slate quite like this in terms of so much lopsidedness pre-flop. Now after the ball drops, things get a little different, right? We thought there was no chance the Bucks and the Pistons would be a 4-quarter game. It wasn't necessarily ever close, but it was like the Bucks just like never put it away. And that could happen here, and we still get the minutes out of our players. So, Lakers and the Grizzlies project starting 5 for the Lakers. Dennis Schroeder, Kentavious Caldwell Pope, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Marc Gasol taking on Tyus Jones, Grayson Allen, Dylan Brooks, Kyle. The Andersons got tickets to the game? How'd they get tickets? Jonas Valanciunas, 218 total, 9-point spread in favor of the Los Angeles Lakers of Anaheim. We got a Q tag on Mr. James. I'm sure he's going to play, but, why did I just control search James? Like, there's like 8 James, but there's 1 LeBron. Sprained left ankle is officially questionable, is LeBron. The questionable tag has followed LBJ for nearly every game this season, yet he continues to play without any obvious discomfort. He's likely to get a few maintenance days off throughout the season, but it's unlikely to happen here. Just keep an eye on him during a back-to-back set this Thursday versus San Antonio and Friday versus the Bulls. So it sounds like he's going to be ready to go. He is 10.1K. He's been a solid, 50-plus lately. LeBron James he just never really gets that respect from the fantasy community in terms of, like, ownership. But like, look at his game log: 54, 62, 55. like he's doing things. And in this matchup against Memphis, on the last time out, he dropped 54. You just take the 54. You take the 54. Anthony Davis, on the flip side, tends to get more ownership and has been a little less consistent than LeBron. Flashed to 62 against San Antonio. But past that, a bunch of 40s. Now, we definitely believe that has room to grow. Want to see some more 20-shot attempt games, but man, price is getting dangerously low, right? 9,500 any given Sunday. Anthony Davis wakes up, 18 rebounds, 25 points, 5 blocks. Like, he can go bananas. So at 9,500, I will always have me a hankering, a little bit of the brow. Dennis Schroeder, 5.7 on FanDuel, 6.5K on DraftKings. He's also becoming a little bit more inconsistent, but at that price point in this matchup against a fast-paced, porous defense in the Grizzlies. Although I would say their defense takes a step up with Tyus over John Morant. It's just their offense plummets. He's always in the mix for me. Off the bench here, I thought I was the cutest guy in the room the other night, man. I had Talen Horton-Tucker on FanDuel. My man had like 13 fantasy points in his first run and ended up with 16. And I was like, oh, well, there's that. So just to satisfy my own mind here, let's see if he even got run second half or was it just a first half thing. Because I thought it could be a blowout. Talen Horton-Tucker, go out there, give me the money. That first run, look at that. He was out there second run. He had 1 stat, an assist. So 23 minutes for Tucker in this matchup. I'd probably go for a round of seconds and just hope for the best here in like deep field tournaments, 100K to first, stuff like that. because he is 3,400 on DK, 35 on FanDuel. No floor there, but we've seen this upside in preseason. But I really just looking for the north side of 20 fantasy points, and he should be, the better of all the options on the second unit. We saw Kyle Kuzma grab a spot start, right? But KCP was out. KCP is still officially questionable. Left ankle's questionable. He practiced on Monday, but his status hasn't been determined yet. And he admitted that his ankle still isn't 100% recovered. Expect him to resume playing 20-25 minutes per game once he's cleared to play. So I guess there's still a world where KCP misses his game, and then we might see Kyle Kuzma back into the starting lineup again. And then I might chase Horton Tucker once again for maybe some more staggered uses without him. On the Grizzlies side, without John Morant, I've been all over Dillon Brooks and Kyle Anderson, and their prices have not really moved. The usage rates are still going to be there. Perhaps this matchup, takes a step back and we start worrying about, potential ceiling here. But responsibility-wise on a short slate, Kyle Anderson still 15-plus shot attempts, enough peripherals to kind of give him a foundation. He put up 25 against the Lakers last time, but shot 1 for 8. Lakers good defense, but at this type of volume, I think if the ownership stays low enough, I got to take some gambles on it. Dillon Brooks, another guy that I would be looking at, guard forward eligible. You could put him at 5 spots on your DraftKings lineup. Another 15-plus shot attempts for him. So 25-35. It may not be pretty, but if you can give me the north side of 30 today with all these 10-point spreads, I'll have to have some Brooks and Anderson. I guess the question is just how much? Like, how much do you trust of Dillon Brooks and Kyle Anderson at these price points in this matchup?
I mean, I kind of like maybe even a game stack of this one. You want to put Anderson, Brooks, maybe even a J-Val in there, bring him back with LeBron, get a little different. I expect this game not to be close, and Dillon Brooks and Anderson struggle, but NBA DFS, anything's possible. So if they keep it close, don't hate those guys. At their prices, they have slate breaking upside. So don't hate it. Not core pieces, but if you just want to throw something in a big field tournament, go for it. Other than that, I mean, Davis 9,500 is intriguing. All the ownership, so I guess people can go Kyrie, Davis, not running to play him, but I mean 9,500 can give you 60.
So for the FanDuel players in here, I see it. This is what happened to me the other day in this spot. Power forward was so bad the other day, and it is not good today. There is essentially a $5,000 gap between the power forward 1 and the power forward 2. Pending the LaMarcus Aldridge news, $10K for Anthony Davis. Markkanen's out with the COVID protocol. LaMarcus Aldridge has been missing games. If Aldridge is out, Bojan Bogdanovic is your second highest price power forward on FanDuel, 5.3K. That's a $5,000 gap. That creates a lot of it's a nuance for sure. And what I did the other day is I had valued enough position that I just played AD, and I was like, if he gets me 40, he gets me 40. I think this is another slate where that just happens. Like I think AD is going to be, I don't want to say over-owned in context of just him being AD. I think it's going to be over-owned because there's nowhere else to go. Like, people are just going to play AD because it's him, or we spin the wheel with Bojan, Brandon Clark, Robert Covington, Naz Reid, Royce O'Neal. I mean, look at these names down here.
On DK, you get DeRozan as power forward eligible.
Which is ridiculous, by the way, but okay.
Or Keldon Johnson has been doing fine, but power forward seems rough over there.
So, AD might be the most expensive 38 fantasy point to bink a tournament tonight. And he might be needed in the context of FanDuel's positional breakdown. So, anyway, you can continue. I just wanted to point out there's a big difference between AD on FanDuel and AD on DraftKings, and it's only because of position scarcity.
Yeah. I'm going to have some LeBron, pair some LeBron and Kyrie together. Get a 5-game slate, sometimes just a raw point slate. I think LeBron's good for 50 here, doing his thing, triple-double threat every time. Just give me some LeBron James at 10-1. LeBron can outscore Kyrie.
In a vacuum, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
he has to at the price.
Yeah, right? If Kyrie could have a regular 50-60 point game, if Karis LeVert has a big one and some of his teammates step up, Kyrie won't have to go nuclear. I can see it. Don't hate it.
Don't get away from Kyrie. Don't do it.
I'm just saying, man. I keep trying to
No,
bring
but
these
I
kind of
get
top-heavy
it.
teams.
I
Yeah,
like if there's ever a slate to reward funky thinking, it's probably this one because Kyrie's
yeah.
could be pushing 40+% over. Like
Oh,
so,
I think he's pushing like 60,
that's
70.
fair. Like I don't think that's crazy. Like
Yeah,
you could throw any number at me. I'm like, yeah, I could see it.
fact.
This slate. So this is probably a slate where you want to think a little outside the box and not be results orientated. But
Yeah.
like that's one of those thoughts that just LeBron James more fantasy points than Kyrie. Like it's not shocking as a sentence.
Nope.
So maybe like if you're looking for some build your lineups backwards from the field, you do that, and the process gets us a little trepidatious of these large spreads, but you might just have to not look at spreads today and just make some lineups based on matchups and hope games stay within 20 and the starters get some run. I mean, this is an awkwardly constructed slate. It's unique to say the least. Let's get caught up on chat. You're fighting an uphill battle if you're not on AD on FanDuel. I understand it completely. Josh Redfoot, what up, Josh? Too many other pay-ups on FanDuel I like and blow up potential. Paying that much for AD is tough. So both sides of the coin here like makes sense. The thing is like all these guys down here that you punt at the power forward spot are volatile in and of themselves. I do think the more I think about Royce O'Neal now and the lack of rebounding rate for the Nets thus far, the more I might just play it. Like if I'm gonna take 38 from 10K AD, and I think AD can still drop 60, by the way, maybe I can live with 20 from one of these 5K or lessers and put that money. Because if AD is just de facto chalk, not because people think he's a smash play, just because there's no floor, like maybe that does take away from the Jokic ownerships on FanDuel or the Gobert or somebody like that. I don't know. Just the money has to come from somewhere, right? So yeah. Anyway, Gun, do you think LeBron is a smash play today? Who do you like him more than in context of this slate? I don't think necessarily he's a smash play. I just think he's more consistent than people like give him credit or respect for from a fantasy perspective. Obviously, if we go a little bit cheaper, like Kawhi Leonard's been crushing it at 9.1. We'll talk about that in a minute too. Phoenix is a really, really tough defensive matchup, so I can easily look past that. Prior to that, if he's playing full minutes, man, 50 fantasy points is away from him. So in the context of the slate, I wouldn't have LeBron ranked necessarily higher than any of these other studs, but I just think in the context of him just being there for 50, 60 fantasy points and people just not playing it.
Are you going back to Horton Tucker?
I think I will, because the minutes were there, and it's like a 10%er in 100 lineups, not even 10%, like capped at 10%. The first run was good, like 13. I think he had 13 or 16 by half, and I was like, all right, let's go, double up, let the blowout happen, let him come out there and mop it, and that just never happened. He did come out, he just had one stat, so. I might play that same game theory. My theory there was what Kuzma was starting, right? And I was like, man, Tucker, looking at these bench pieces, it's like him and Montrezl Harrell. So I just thought like Tucker could get the reps and soak up some blowout minutes. So I still like I like him in theory. Just if it happens in practice, we'll see. That's what I'm doing. I'm punting power forward. I think that's fair too. What up, Jared? You have to play 80 at that price on DraftKings. He is really cheap, 9.5. He's right there with the aforementioned Kawhi Leonard. It's a dangerous price. Schroeder sneaky, I'm with that. JaMychal Green at power forward for value. Okay, rostering JaMychal. Got Green at full. We got some JaMychal Green love. Levert's a lock on FanDuel. I'll have a lot. Solid picks is Kyrie's going to bust at this ownership.
Very possible. Not necessarily bust. He can be. Look, like Zach LaVine could outscore Kyrie Irving today.
He could. I mean, those in the vacuum.
That's the stand-up take today. LaVine and Kobe White will outscore Irving and Karis LeVert.
All right. Well,
that's what's up.
Here's the other night when, if you guys remember the night, it was a Sunday where Jalen Brunson was the guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had so many of my top lineups. It was Kyrie and Jalen Brunson. And Kyrie dropped like 57, 58 fantasy points on FanDuel. And I was like, oh, I'm set, bro. I'm about to go buy some new games for my PS5. We're lit. And then Steph Curry happened. So it's definitely not that I think like I'm on Kyrie no matter what. Like I think it's there, but you could argue Mike Conley not a great matchup, right? And that at least on FanDuel in the point guard position itself, Damian Lillard could outscore Kyrie. It's just really game theory. Like this is such like DFS fundamentals. Like in cash, I'm all over Kyrie, but if I was going after a single entry and I could nail a couple of guys at 40 to 60% own and just go backwards on that just might be worth the opportunity alone. So results be darned. Like the opportunity for leverage is like at an extremely, it's just a high opportunity. But I love Kyrie, Chad. Don't get that twisted. We're just talking some game theory. What up, Hunter? How are you? Gasol Revenge? Yeah. Spray some likes, fella. Yeah, I would appreciate some likes. Sure. Out of 10 games, how many times did LeBron pass AD? I mean, look at this season, right? Like, compare them to how many times? Like, almost every game but one, right? Mike Conley locking down Kyrie. He could give him fits to where if Kyrie
Conley's not locking down Kyrie. Conley hasn't been an elite defender in a couple years now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's Kyrie Irving.
Utah's allowing the fewest fantasy points per game to opposing point guards. Just put it out there. Just put it out there. It's Kyrie. I'm on Kyrie too. I'm just saying, if we get this guy to 60%, I might be the ultimate comeback. I'll have Kyrie as a core in 150, and then I'll go load up some single entries and just fade him.
With it.
Raj always talks himself into some terrible takes. I back him to a corner. Let him trap himself, whatever. Let's move on to the next game, chat. Minnesota. The Timberwolves up against the Denver Nuggets. Does Minnesota allow fans in their stadium? Does anybody know? I got to go to Minnesota in a couple weeks. I don't know if they allow fans. Project starting five for the T-Wolves. D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, Jarrett Culver, Juancho Hernan. Ed Davis. I've never been able to do the Juancho bit before. Up against Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, Will Barton, Paul Millsap, and Nikola Jokic. It's one of those back-to-back sets where it's not a back-to-back, but it's the two games in a row. 10.5 point spread here in favor of the Denver Nuggets. The T-Wolves kind of shook it up last slate. Like after lock, we had a starting lineup, projected starting lineup of like Naz Reid and guys like that. And then they came out and shook it up a little bit. And here come Juancho and Ed Davis. Will they stick to that? We'll see. But what we saw when that did play out, Rubio off the bench and this starting lineup, we saw Malik Beasley going against his old team, the Denver Nuggets, and just go ballistic, bananas for fantasy standpoint. 38 minutes played in that game. 48 and a quarter fantasy points. Maybe Jamal was Instagramming his girl. I don't know. But he played with a little bit of pepper in his step. But then you start quantifying that a little bit. He's been, a couple games point per minute. Utah's a tough matchup. 6.3K for Malik Beasley. I don't feel like he's a secret, but I also don't feel like he's going to generate a ton of ownership. Like 1v1 him versus LeVert in ownership. It's going to LeVert. So, I mean, he could go, the run back play of the day. Juancho and Ed Davis, like I'm not super excited to project those guys for high minutes. Like I think Naz Reid still out-minuted them. Maybe Layman's
Ed Davis is a bit of a Derek Favors type of play.
Yeah, Ed Davis historically for me has been just that fun point per minute. Can I get 15, 18 minutes? Go. Like, he's been around for a minute. Like I've been using him in that role for a while. Jarrett Culver, he's a cheap shot at 25 plus minutes, and then D'Angelo Russell, 7.4, 7.2K.
I don't know what's going on with him this year.
He just keeps letting people down.
Yeah,
but could he outscore Donovan Mitchell?
Bro,
maybe?
With no cat, like I thought he'd eventually be like a 9K, 8,800 type of player, but he just hasn't been getting it done. I don't know if it's because this Minnesota team does have some other guys to score, so he doesn't have to carry as much a scoring load. But
let's get the numbers before we're results orientated. Let's put D Ross into the mix. Let's take the big cat, Ernie Ladd, off of the table just on this year's sample size. I'm not gonna miss with anything else here. D Ross still has a 30% usage rate. It's just not happening. And again, chat, usage is just the end of a possession, right? So if you shoot and you miss, it's still considered usage. So this 30% usage, 142-minute sample size, there's room for progression. The matchup isn't great. Gary Harris, Jamal Murray, one of the better defensive backcourts. So maybe the game's coming. Maybe it won't be here. Maybe it's coming soon. But I wouldn't give up on D-Russ just yet. 7 for 15, 6 for 16, like 15-plus shot attempts. They haven't been a part of many competitive games. And if you really look at this schedule for D-Russ, now that we have some sample on like DVP and where teams are landing defensively, Denver, we know, can be tough. Washington, there's no excuse for that. To get beat by Washington, night 2 of back-to-back, they didn't have Russell Westbrook. What are you going to do? Clippers, we know, are annoying defensively. The Lakers, the Utah Jazz. And then Denver, we had Karl-Anthony Towns go off that game. So I'm willing to not give up on D-Russ is what I'm saying. And 7.2K, like I still got to take shots. I mean, he dropped 40 in this matchup. Like on this slate, 40 for what it's worth. Yeah, give it to me. I'm in agreement with you. The results should be better, but I mean, he's not getting to the line. He's got one game with more than 2 free throw attempts, and then how many? He's just not getting fouled. Like he's just not going to the line. And I do think if you want to be a high volume, like 15, 20 plus the star guard, like you gotta get to the line. He's not getting to the line. So we'll see. It's not my favorite matchup for him, but in the context of the slate, I'm willing to not give up on him. I think the opportunity's still there. I think the use is still there. So give me him. Give me some Malik Beasley. And then in that spin the wheel, make a deal, roulette of death power forward position at FanDuel, we might still see elevated ownership on Naz Reid, even though he's not starting now. He still had decent ownership last game. Again, none of these guys in the power forward spot on FanDuel are just going to make you drool. But would you just take a 20-25 from Naz Reid today in the context of how porous and how shallow this power forward pool is? Maybe. Flipping the side here to the Nuggets. Nuggets going again without Michael Porter Jr. We've seen Will Barton draw the start in his place. We pull that up. 5.4K for him, small forward on FanDuel. Just 21 minutes that last game. Was that foul induced or what? Foul. No, it wasn't. Why did he only... Let me pull up the popcorn machine on that. But that was the Murray game. I think Jokic was in foul trouble for sure that game, and Jamal Murray went off. I have trust issues with Jamal Murray, but I would probably play him considering the matchup. Will Barton,
Jokic, he's got to be in the pool.
Will Barton just didn't play the fourth quarter. Like he just did not play. It looks like Monte Morris played the entire fourth quarter. Dozier got some run. The mop-up squad got the run in the fourth, but also Jokic did as well. I think it's fair. It depends on if you think this game is close for Will Barton to get that run. What were you saying, Jokic?
Yeah, I mean Jokic. I mean, if he needs to score, if Jamal Murray's not having a shot falling, Jokic is the guy on this team. He had a baby triple-double last game. It's like the easiest triple-double ever.
Yeah. So at 10.8K, and there's no right or wrong answer to anyone. This is just like a hypothetical. At 10.8K, if Jokic got you 55, are you winning a tournament?
You cool with it?
Okay, I think it's fair. I do think triple doubles here. He was in foul trouble a lot that last game, and looking at this popcorn machine, it's almost a miracle that he came back in the game. Like, he was out there with nobody. JaMychal Green, PJ Dozier, Campazzo, Marcus Howard. Like, holy cow, what are these names? But I guess they're kind of shallow in the big department. So, if he's in that type of foul trouble here and this game's lopsided, is Jokic closing it out? I don't know, man. I don't know. But I'm with you on the Jokic. I think triple double is very, very plausible. It seems like he's got like some goals there. The center spot is a $1,300 gap between Jokic and AD. And then, Gobert in the mix. I think Gobert is going to be higher owned than maybe you think he is. Just kind of like getting halfway through these picks. But I love Jokic so much. Doesn't stay close. That's it. Marcus Howard. Who the F is Marcus Howard? Let's put that in the mix. Do I got it for minutes? I don't have minutes right now. I might have to adjust that. But Howard didn't. Oh, Howard didn't touch. Okay. It's Compazzo, PJ Dozier, JaMychal Green, and Monte Morris was the mop-up crew. I've seen some love for JaMychal Green in chat. I don't hate that. I think that's 3,800. Put him in your back pocket. I think 20 to 25 minutes is probably the median range outcome in terms of minute projection. But point per minute, we've seen this no matter where he's been. So I think I like him a lot. I would assume that since you guys brought him up pretty liberally, that I think the field probably lands on JaMychal Green quite a bit as well. I'll probably have to up my minute projection on him. I had him at really, really low 14. Did he benefit from Jokic indirectly or Will Barton indirectly? He came in the game in the first quarter. I don't know. Yeah, he came in the game early opposite Jokic, and Jokic was in early foul trouble. I just don't want it to be fool's gold, but it looks plausible that he should get the run here, at least 15, especially if you got it blown out. Yeah. Anyway, chat. What do you guys got here? Sorry for kind of drifting away there. Mike Conley locking down. Blah 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 blah. Any love for Gorgeous Zhang from the Grizzlies? Love is a strong word. 4K, really cheap. 20 minutes. Could he get you 20, 30 fantasy points? Yeah, he could. I can see it. The matchup isn't like pristine, but if that game gets out of control, I like that's such lazy analysis on this whole slate. But there's one
That's
game
the
projected
major
to be
slate.
closed. Like it's just like, if the game gets out of control, like, God, it's so late. Like, it's a tough slate. What do you guys think about Anthony Edwards? He shoots a lot. Yeah, Anthony Edwards is fine. I like if Ricky Rubio is gonna continue to come off the bench. I like him as a facilitator for that second unit and just kind of helping Edwards find shots. 23 to 26 minutes in his last 3 games. Only took 4 shot attempts against Denver. But there are he's 5K. Oof, probably not at 5K. I'm not a buyer, but there's still a shot there. But we've seen 15 plus real points in all but 2 games so far. I just don't know that there's a lot of meat on the bone there. Like that, I'd probably rather go Joe Harris in that range. Beasley's very vengeful kind of guy. Beasley was playing with some fire. Ice in his veins. D-Russ. You were right about everyone yesterday. I was right about most except the guys I was highest on personally. Like I cored Buddy Hield, Rashawn Holmes, and Sadiq Bey, thinking those were like the value guys that could not fail me at their minutes and their matchup. Everyone else, like in the top 10 of top scoring, were in my pool. I just had too much of no foundation. D-Russ is overrated and showing in spades. He ruins every team he gets on. I'm not here for that.
I want to say that.
D'Lo might be a nice pivot. D'Lo not driving to the basket, just shooting threes and missing. That is evidence in the lack of free throw attempts for sure. Murray's the guy though from this game. I like the idea of Murray. 7.9 on FanDuel, 7.6K with no Michael Porter Jr. Last game, him and Jokic did kind of coexist. I think Jokic really got bailed out by being in the mop-up crew, but 20 shot attempts for Jamal Murray in 3 of his last 4 games now. You probably are going to need 30 real points for him to have a big fantasy point game at this spot, but this matchup is just so easy. So give it to me. Phoenix, I think, was that an overtime game, Phoenix? I don't remember. There was a game where he got knocked loopy, and they went to OT. But you probably need that 30 real points, but in this matchup, like, who's going to stop him? D-Russ is, a piece of paper. So I like the idea of Murray. It is a heavy investment for somebody who might be a little bit more scoring dependent. I think Jamal Murray has that extra gear in his game. Like, he could get assists and whatever, but I think Jokic is doing that right now. So if Jokic is going to just keep dishing out triple doubles, he might be playing more like a shooting guard than a point guard. I stacked Doncic, Gordon, and Hardaway because you hyped the Houston-Dallas game. Shout out to you for that, Gun. I'm glad it worked out. Man, somebody came in my Twitch chat last night. It's like, Gun, I crushed it thanks to you. And I was like, I was so happy, but I was like, man, I got smacked. It's like, it's so crazy how we could all like think alike, but just like when we get to the table, we play the cards a little differently, and just it worked out. Porter out again, yeah. Michael Porter Jr. is gonna be out. Will Barton, I think, like that last game, his minutes. What did we say? Like 20 minutes blowout. There's a chance Will Barton's the obvious play in retrospect. Under 6K, 30 minutes against the Timberwolves. And if the game stays close here, Barton could be a point per minute. Keith says, I would rather Gobert. With him being so much cheaper, I most likely end up putting the same amount of points without a triple-double. Same points as Jokic. That's tough, but I think points per dollar, Gobert is an elite play. Because I do think like 20 rebounds is a range outcome here. Centers against the Nets. It's like death taxes, centers against the Nets. I thought this year it would like take a step forward. It hasn't, and their rebound rate's been ridiculous. And Utah is one of the best rebounding teams in the league right now because of O'Neal and Gobert. So yeah, DeAndre would see more minutes to guard him, rebound. DeAndre is just a rim. Both of them are really rim protectors. I think Gobert has a little bit more of a shot game than DeAndre, but that's not saying much. So I think lanky-wise, if you think DeAndre's just going to sit around the rim to kind of battle him, I think that's fair, but I wouldn't, I'm not too scared. Gobert's hook shot's kind of dirty. Beasley is my favorite play here from a value perspective. Yeah. Choo-choo, by the way. My smash sleeper tonight is Monte Morris. I could see that. I like Monte. Rostered Bay and healed and cashed every entry. So Bane, I think you could have yesterday. There was so much chalk bust that you could have 2 of 3. But like if you had a lot of Bay, Healed, and Rashawn Holmes, you were dead in the water, and I was dead and stinking, bro. I was floating, I was bloated, like my body was a corpse. Like that was
one of those.
I was out of there.
Bit of a weekly occurrence for myself, but it happens.
Was that what it's like to be Raj in DFS?
Once a week. It happens.
Like my bad nights are never like that. Like my bad nights, I lost. I got back 80%, 70%. Last night it was like dang near what do they call it in car insurance? Like total loss, irreparable. Like that was a deposit button loss. Yeah. Favorite center points per dollar on FanDuel gun. It's easily Rudy Gobert. Gobert is my favorite center points per dollar on any site. Does Allen get there at his price? Jared Allen. I think Jared Allen's worth a flyer in tournaments, but like the matchup isn't anything like specifically that I would go after. Jared Allen's more of like a fast-paced, dunk the ball kind of guy. So far, Utah has been down in pace, and we know that they're pretty good at defending points in the paint. So yeah, missed cash with all 3 of them by 1 fantasy point. That's tough. Best play on Jock Market. I know of Jock Market. I haven't tried it yet, so I can't really speak to that site yet. Rod's telling on himself. You can look at Gobert versus DeAndre stat muse. He handles them when given minutes. We could, but like just the metrics alone are telling us. Like, let's go to the team metric tab and RunDFS.com VIP spreadsheet. First of all, points in the paint allowed. Rudy Gobert is going to get almost all of his points in the paint. And the Brooklyn Nets are allowing the 4th most fantasy point or 4th most real points per game in the paint. And then we just look at defensive rebounding rates. The Nets' defensive rebounding rate is the worst in basketball. Maybe there's room for progression, but you take out Kevin Durant. Seems unlikely that it's going to happen here. And then offensive rebound rate, Nets are a little bit more league average. So it's just like everything that Rudy Gobert is good at, rebounding and scoring points in the paint is what the Nets are bad at. So it's just like kind of a simplistic approach to liking him, right? Glad Raj is back. Be nice guy. Nah, we like Raj. All right, we got to move on here. 405. I actually got time. Late log. Spurs at the Clippers. Project starting 5 for the Spurs. Dejounte Murray, Lonnie Walker, DeMar DeRozan, Keldon Johnson, and LaMarcus Aldridge taking on Patrick Beverley, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. I'm going to do the chronic bit. Nick Batum, Serge Ibaka. 228 is our total. 9.5 point spread in favor of the Clippers. Keep an eye on Aldridge. He's missed a couple of games now. We've got like I said, another deep spread 9.5 point game. The Clippers have just been a team that plays nothing but blowouts. It seems them and the Mavs seem to get in a lot of lopsided games. Aldridge missed the Spurs' last 3 games due to left knee soreness, but Tuesday morning shoot around should let us know. Okay, I didn't get any update on that, so there's still a chance that he's out, and you gotta believe maybe he's out until he's in. So kind of be prepared for that. If Aldridge is unable to go, we've seen some kickback here for Keldon Johnson. He's 6,500. Not like a name that a lot of people have like gravitated towards yet, but if you look at some of these games he's putting together, man, a lot of 20-plus real point games, and the peripherals are there to boot. 36, 48, 42, 32. So he's put up over 30 fantasy points in all but 2 games so far. Matchup against the Clippers on paper gets a lot tougher, and there's a lot more required of a $6,500 price point versus maybe $5K. But if Aldridge is out, I think I can go back to the well here, and I think tonight I might just be banking on talent and volume, and just whatever happens. If Aldridge is in, it's fair to be very scared of any Spurs specifically. Like, everyone's priced at an uncomfortable spot. Dejounte Murray, maybe matching up there against Pat Bev might give him some fits. I still like him as a stuff the stat sheet fantasy point producer. And maybe, the defensive focus is going to be on like DeRozan or what have you. But if Aldridge is in, like all these price points are a little tough to love. The Clippers, though, Paul George, 8,800 on both sides here. He's finally starting to get a little bit of respect price-wise on FanDuel, because like every night he's like 40% owned and he just crushes. 37 minutes his last 2 games. Tougher defensive matchups, Utah and Phoenix, 50-plus fantasy points. He's dropped 48 on FanDuel in 3 straight games, doing a little bit of everything. 39 real points, a little bit on the upside there, and that was a night where Kawhi had one of his worst shooting nights. It got himself a little bit of Mikal Bridges defense, which is quickly catching on. But 8,800, now I'm starting to need that 50 fantasy points, and on the context of FanDuel, he's the second highest priced shooting guard, and below him it's guys like DeRozan, Zach LaVine, D-Mitch, D-Russ. Karis LeVert is a shooting guard now. He was a small forward for a bit on FanDuel, so like I could see him not being chalky today like he has been in previous slates on FanDuel. And maybe he just goes out there and drops another 50 fantasy points and is viable. And then I want to talk about Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard on DraftKings could be like the play of the day. 9.1K. Does he get enough traction at this price point, considering the matchup? I definitely think he's going to bounce back from a 4 for 21 shooting night against the defensive stylings here of the San Antonio Spurs. 50-plus fantasy points is not an unrealistic range of outcomes. I think the caveat here, the question mark here is, can the Spurs keep it close? That's the question we got to ask every game, but like it's just not fair to I don't know. It's just not fair to write it off considering the context of the slate. Like every game is a 10-point spread. Do I just give this man 32 minutes and say 9,100? He's cheaper than all these other studs with 60-point potential, right? Jokic, James, even Damian Lillard. Like Kawhi could be super obvious in retrospect. Also, the Spurs are allowing 7 blocks per game right now. And, Kawhi's averaging over a block per game, so he might be in line for some extra stocks to help you out on FanDuel. What are you doing with this one, Raj?
I mean, looking at how well Paul George has played at 8,800, I mean, I think he's a guy you just have to play. That shooting guard position is tough. A couple cheaper guys, but give me Paul George and Kawhi. Would you play them together and maybe even stack this game up? Bring them back with a little DeRozan, DeJounte Murray, or Keldon Johnson? Don't hate it.
Yeah, I would. Maybe I would like to feel a little bit more confident if DeRozan or if Aldridge was playing. The Clippers, by the way, have a bottom 10 defensive rating. Like obviously, I think that has room to grow. Ibaka, Kawhi's missed a few games, Paul George, but it's kind of surprising.
Kawhi's not the same defender he was a couple years ago.
You relax. It's early. It's relax. I'm just saying. So far, defensively, like they've had some issues. I think a lot of that might come from that game where Kawhi missed and the Mavs went bananas. So yeah, I'm expecting progression there. I think you're out of your mind. You're just a salty Raptors fan when it comes to
Yeah.
Kawhi. Kawhi is still elite. Relax. But yeah, I get what you're saying. You can run this back. You can run this game 2v2, 3v3, maybe in a vacuum and hope it stays close. But I really think I gotta. I don't know. It's one of those things where I want Aldridge to feel like the game stays close, but then I don't want Aldridge to feel like I'm getting decent prices on these players. Like without Aldridge,
Yeah.
I could play DeRozan and know that the usage and potential at 7-9 is there. Keldon Johnson, I got to milk 25 real points out of that to feel great, and Dejounte Murray the same. So when I replace the Aldridge with like a Jakob Poeltl or a Drew Eubanks or something like that, then I feel a little bit better about these prices on the rest of the Spurs, but then I feel less confident in their ability to keep it close. But maybe the Clippers, come out flat, play a little bit slow, and Pop has them ready. Somebody in chat earlier mentioned they were all about some Nick Batum today. He is 4-4 on FanDuel, 4-6 on DraftKings. We talked about the death trap, just like yuck on FanDuel, what power forward has become. At 4-4, this is a match. Like the Spurs defensively have been so bad. They don't rebound spectacularly. If we go to the DVP chart in the RunDFS.com VIP spreadsheet, the Spurs are allowing like a top 7, 8, 6 fantasy point per game to opposing power forwards, and double-digit boards are out there. There's some rebounds to be had. Maybe I can get on board a 30-minute Batum in this spot, getting me 25 plus fantasy points. Like it doesn't feel great, but I could warm up to it. Like I do think 10 real points in a 30-minute stretch with 5 to 10 rebounds, a couple blocks and steals, 4,400. I'm just looking for the north side of 20 in a shallow position. I could co-sign that, chat. So I can back up some exposure to the French beat. I don't know. I'm just kind of making up a nickname. See what you got on this one, chat. You can look on. I had Capella, but hit on Barrett and Tatum with Pritchard. Yeah. Like I said, last night there was landmines everywhere, and you could have essentially 2 landmines and still survive. Like on FanDuel, MCW was over 20% owned. Like what?
Don't get it.
Exum, I'm not gonna victory lap. Exum was inflated owned too. He got injured, so I'm not dogging anyone that played Exum, but he's another one of those guys that just doesn't have a ceiling for me to be like excited. So there's a lot of chalk bums last night. So I think 2 or 3 you had a chance. You had a puncher's chance at cash. 3 as your core, like me, like your highest owned players, you were dead. I was dead. Joe Harris going to break the slate. I can see that. Wish I had Randall Wentwood instead. Yeah, Randall on FanDuel though is just free. What team gives up the most fantasy points, like in total, is probably just the team that has the fastest pace, worst defensive rating. Should I run this line for FanDuel? Gun. Lou Will, Jamal Murray, Malik Beasley, Karis LeVert, Kawhi Leonard, Harris, Joe Harris, Xavier Tillman. There's a name. AD and Gobert. I mean, I don't see a specific issue with it. I think it's fine. Kawhi and move on, says Chronic. Serge Ibaka could be a low on center play. Big issue with him is the minutes with Zubac also there. Agree with that. He could take advantage of those blocks too. If Aldridge is in, I'm on him on FanDuel. Okay, don't sleep on McCall Bridges. Hey, he's locking people up. McCall Bridges is starting to put together a highlight reel of names that he's locking up. It's not
Who
just
brought him
like,
up in the chat saying he was elite? We all made fun of him, and
it was
now he's-
Chronic. Like no. I didn't make fun of him, but like Luka had a good game, and McCall Bridges has a couple so far.
Yeah.
So far. Kawhi Leonard revenge game, sure. Kawhi strapping DDR. GG, this game's not stack worthy. Normally no, but on this slate, it's a yike. It's just yucky. I was all over Nick Batum earlier, bro. It was me. All right, Damian. Get Damian credit for that one. Patty Mills, you fellas better recognize value. I'm just going to leave this here. So Derek White came back for a cup of coffee and left again. So Patty Mills is still likely a 20-plus minute guy. Same with Rudy Gay. Like, those aren't fun names to click, but I could see it. Going on FanDuel, can you grade Batum, Thad Young, and Kuzma 1 through 3, and do you hate any? So I think Batum. I hate to say it, Batum would be my number one there, just because I do think 30 minutes is such a soft matchup with enough peripherals to just kind of help you out from with FanDuel rewards, right? If he gets a couple blocks and steals, you're good. Thad is iffy. Kuzma, if KCP's out, Kuzma drew the start last game, and he had like a quick 11 fantasy points off the rip, and then he like finished with like less than 15. Like, if Kuzma's starting with LeBron, with AD, with Schroeder, like the volatility in his production just increases exponentially. So, is Batum over Kuzma crazy? Maybe if KCP started and you wanted to go Kuzma, just to overlap without LeBron and them. But I don't know, man. I think I'm kind of leaning.
I don't think either of those guys are really core pieces today. But
nah, he's just asking a bit for the threes, like so. Just yeah. Lost me at Lou Will. All right. Thoughts on Harrell and FanDuel? It's 5,300, so cheap. So I think if you think that game blows out and Harrell could soak up 20 plus minutes, I mean that's a guy that could put up a point per minute in that matchup, 30 fantasy points. Centers for me, centers either like Jokic, Gobert, or then you start getting a little bit cute, right? A little bit more dumpster diving. By the way, why is LaMarcus Aldridge not a center on FanDuel yet? Cantor, somebody we'll talk about. He's 5,200, kind of the same guy as Montrezl Harrell from fantasy production. He just dropped a 40 bomb against Golden State, 24-12. So if you're really reaching for that surprise play of the day at that 5K range, I think Montrez and Cantor have similar comps for fantasy. We got one game left on the docket. Gotta take a pause for the cause, get a plug out the way. While I do a plug, can you guys help me out? Hit that thumbs up. Yesterday we were able to get over 100 likes, 100 thumbs up while on the air. That like never happened. So if you guys want to go for history, start a streak, I would appreciate it. Immediately following this stream, I'll be in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord. It looks a little something like this. James says, and in the NBA voice chat, I'll be sitting in there up until lock, talking plays, chilling out with the peeps. If you guys got any game theory or contest selects questions like that, in addition to what should be a controllable, manageable slate, you guys can jump in there, grab a mic, chop it up, have some fun, make some new friends in the community. Otherwise, you'll have access to 24-hour-a-day Discord where we talk NBA, football, everything that you play DFS on. There was like a deep like Bitcoin conversation going on in there as well. There's somebody doing something on everything. If you guys also want access to the spreadsheet that we've been using throughout the duration of this podcast or this live stream, it is a premium perk as well of having a RunDFS.com VIP pass. So if you go to RunDFS.com, make yourself an account, click VIP passes, find a pass that's right for you. That'll unlock a VIP forum, an onboarding thread. That'll get you a link to the Discord and a link to the NBA spreadsheet. And then, of course, I also do coverage for NFL. We have a 6-game NFL playoff. It's not even a slate. There's 6 games for the playoffs. I think it's 2-3-game slates. So plenty of money to be won on that and attack there as well. So if you guys are really looking to take your DFS game to the next level, I advise you to join a community. Doesn't have to be mine. A community of sharp, like-minded guys, grinders, and I think I have a really good one. So if you like our vibes, definitely invite you to come check it out. We've been seeing a lot of influx of new members lately. So yeah, let's catch up on chat before we get into main event. No one want to talk about Ibaka? All right, Cody, I'm with it. Where's the cat gun? The cat's coming in 2 weeks. This lineup's contrarian enough to throw in a big tournament. Lemon Pepper Lou, yes sir. Levine, TLC, Carmelo, Daniel Gafford. Okay, I'm the blink emoji. Definitely contrarian enough, Manuel. Like I understand him in a vacuum. Lemon Pepper Lou hasn't been relevant since he shut down from strip clubs. Thoughts on TLC? It looks like TLC should be in line for 30 minutes without KD. He just kind of does it. Before we talk about the last game, though, I guess just out of curiosity, go to StatMuse here. Timothy Luwawu Cabarro, DKP by game log with 30 minutes. Let's go last 20 games. Now, this is going to be really skewed because in the playoffs, he was going bananas. But there was, like, no Kyrie or anything like that. 40 minutes against Memphis, 37, 19, 21, 40. I think it's cheap enough to live at 20-plus on this slate and know that maybe 25 DKP's in the range, in the wheelhouse. But you see, like, he's not, like, there are games with 20-plus real points. That whole Toronto series is such, like, an anomalic thing because he might have been the only NBA player on that squad. They had, like, Tyler Johnson, Chris Chiozza. Like, they didn't even have Joe Harris or Levert. It was ugly. But he does have the capacity, the potential to go out there and drop 30 fantasy points. So I'd hate that. Like, I expect his ownership to be high. Should he be announced a starter? But, like, at the minutes equal money at that price point, right? The Pritchard Sadiq Bey argument. Not a fantastic matchup by any stretch, right? Lenny says Batum or O'Neal. Ooh,
Probably Batum.
probably Batum.
Been a little more consistent this year.
Mm-hmm. TLC won me a tournament forever on my good side. Got you in a thumbs up. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the competent and entertaining content. I'm glad that you guys are vibing. We're definitely building like a nice day thing here. Like right now, where are we at? We're at 254 concurrent viewers. I'm vibing, bro. Like, I don't need 1,000. We're chilling. We're having fun. Bulls at the Portland Trailblazers. Last game on the docket. Your main event, 10:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off time. This game, 30 minutes after the Clippers, an hour. Okay, so this slate's kind of spaced out nicely. Like, there's always gonna be something going on. This might be like the late swap slate, where you just start making some strategic moves after blowouts happen or don't happen. Kobe White, Zach LaVine, Patrick Williams, Otto Porter Jr., Wendell Carter Jr. taking on Dame Dollar. Making money ain't new to him. CJ McCollum, Derek Jones Jr., Robert Covington, and Yusuf Nurkic. We got a 232 total, 9.5-point spread in favor of the Portland Trailblazers. Blazers kind of got smacked by Steph Curry. It sounds like you're ready to chase those points with Zach LaVine. Maybe we're not getting 62. But Zach LaVine, nonetheless, 8-1, 8K as a high minute, high volume, late night hammer. I can co-sign that. I can get on board with that. And then Damian Lillard, 9.2K on FanDuel, 9,800 on DraftKings. I could certainly see him and McCollum, right? I could see a world where they just don't garner ownership just because they don't. And I'll also say this. I know there's a 9.5-point spread in favor of Portland. I don't trust Portland like that. Like, Portland has the second worst defense.
Yeah.
They've got the second worst defensive rating in the league right now. And Chicago. I mean, Chicago's not good by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't trust Portland. Like, if I had to look at these teams and put a trust level on teams I expect to handle their business. Like the Lakers, you expect them to handle their business. The Nuggets at home, they should handle up. The Clippers against the Spurs, with or without Aldridge, should be all right. But without Aldridge, I think that the Blazers, sure enough, they're gonna win by 50 now. But like the Blazers just haven't been looking like locked down. I don't know. So with my doubt in the Blazers defense, like Kobe White, Zach LaVine, I can co-sign that. Otto Porter's increased in price, 5,300 on FanDuel, 64 on DraftKings. He's still probably too cheap on FanDuel. Like, he was into 4Ks forever, and he was just like a free square. But he still has 30-plus fantasy point potential. That 19.8 came night two of a back-to-back against the Milwaukee Bucks. You give him 30 minutes here, he does enough of everything. He shoots threes at one of the highest clips in the league in the last 5 years collectively. So why do I like a pull stack all of a sudden?
I love the bull stack. I'm all over Kobe White, Zach LaVine, Otto Porter Jr. This is the game.
What are you doing with the Blazers?
See, that's the weird thing. I'm all over the Bulls, but I'm not all over the Blazers. Just, I mean, at Lillard's price, I like the other pivots you mentioned. You got the LeBrons, you got the Kawhi Leonards, the Kyrie Irvings, CJ McCollum. I think I prefer Paul George. So I think they'll do their thing. It's just at their prices, the upside is just a little limited. So Give me all the Bulls. I mean, and a couple shares of Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum, but not a ton. They're just priced so high.
Let me see. Where are the Bulls at? Where the Bulls are giving up the second most fantasy points per game to opposing point guards, and the fourth most to opposing shooting guards. Is this the most against power forwards? We've seen McCollum and Lillard so far like almost coexist. So if they're gonna take advantage of just like a no defensive game on a weird slate like this, I don't think it's crazy to have McCollum and Lillard together.
I don't think it's crazy. I mean, you can game set this game, fade Kyrie in on the Brooklyn chalk and Brooklyn Utah chalk, and yeah, don't hate it. I love Zach LaVine at his price and Kobe White especially at his price, and there's plenty of upside there.
I think the floor here is in McCollum. I could get behind a game stack too though, but I used to be Dame or McCollum or something like. So far this season, these guys are staggering perfectly. One guy's always on the court to play point guard. So if we can just take advantage of how bad the Bulls have been against point guard and shooting guard, I think you could put these two together, and this might be one of those like the KD Kyrie combos. Or if I put these two together, do I walk away with a minimum 100 fantasy points and maybe 120 considering the matchup? I think it's possible. So I think I'm higher on the handcuff here today than you are. I mean, FanDuel, it's almost 18K on the nose. I'm with it. The rest of the Blazers, spin the wheel, make a deal. People are just wanting Yusuf Nurkic to work. They're trying to work him back into shape. He's just not, it is what it is. But Enes Kanter, 5,200, 5,400. We talked about the validity and the potential on like a Montrezl Harrell. He could get there here against the Bulls. By the way, the Bulls are allowing 10.6 steals per game right now. So Robert Covington might be sneaky. CJ McCollum gets a lot of steals. So just to pad up those stocks at the weight of the stocks on FanDuel, like I don't know, man. I'm higher on Lillard, McCollum, but Cancer off the bench here, and I've even seen people talk about Carmelo here. So there's plenty of names here that I think I can go deep into the night with and hope for the best. Thad Young, I got him at 27 minutes, 4,100 on FanDuel. So somebody had asked between him and Nick Batum. I went Batum. I probably still at Batum. But if Thad Young's going to get 27 minutes of opportunity, there is a range of outcomes where he does okay, just fine, especially if he's crossing up with like Carmelo Anthony defense versus Rocco. So plenty of things to get behind here. Robert Covington is the one that I want to take advantage of. DVP wise, like and DVP is so loose and without context and short sample size, it's so dangerous. But man, the Bulls are up there right now. Otto Porter, for as good as he's been offensively, when he was on the Wizards, one year he was statistically the worst defender in basketball. So there's merit in taking advantage of him. But Robert Covington's just like not involved enough for me to feel confident. But I can't have none here. So I'll have a little bit of Rocco. Hopefully we can steal and block our way to a decent game. Then every now and then you get a flirt with he's only got a 29. So I don't know. I am digging it. I'm digging the game though. I don't want to put all my eggs in a late night hammer basket like last night and get disappointed and soured.
I do like the Bulls.
Yeah. See what you guys got, chat. Take that beanie off and throw a Red Sox beanie. Bro, you won't catch me dead. No freaking
Let's go.
Red Sox. Ooh, it ain't happening. Ain't happening.
Let them know how you feel about Derek Jeter, chat.
Do not. Yeah, we Yankees out here, baby. Chronic says, Gun, did you hit on Ed Davis earlier? So he was like a surprise start there. I expect him. They probably run it back and start him again, but just know that there's a potential that they don't, like Nasri. Like I don't know. It just seems like is it Saunders out there still? I think that they're trying to find his way. Jared Bell, Nurkic is the hammer. Buy low opportunity. One of these days, and we said it last night with Aaron Gordon. One of these days, Nurkic is going to work. But the minutes have been down. It just looks like he's trying to get back into shape. It just seems like he's not in game shape. And there's been foul problems against Golden State, but I just don't know that I trust him for a high allotment of minutes. Boy, did 35 minutes against Houston seem like a dream. But it's 6.4K, man. I need that a 35 fantasy point game. And I think the risk is still a little bit too high. But one day, Jared, like if you're at the slot machine, keep putting quarters in there, right? I'm in on Levine and Kobe White. Aaron says, hot take, Nurk 10+ stocks versus Bulls. Sure. He's averaging under a block and still, but the matchup's there. Last year, the Bulls gave up amongst the most blocks in basketball, but they changed up a little bit. I don't know. I can see it. It's a hot take. We'll give them the hot take button on that one. You guys want a hot take button? Go get a $1.99 channel membership. Boom. Kobe White more in play than Levine. You think so? I think Levine at AK.
I think
Levine could certainly like fall flat at AK, right? Like I think there's a range of outcomes where this is the slate. Like D-Russ outscores Levine. Like Levine has to score a lot of real points, but the minutes and the shot volume is just so nuts right now that I'm willing to take some. I'm willing to go after it. And he's drawing fouls unlike D-Russ, and we were drawing fouls unlike Aguilar. So yeah, I'm all about Levine, but to like Kobe over Levine in a points per dollar standpoint, I don't think that's crazy.
Check 1 2.
Okay, Raj can't hear me. This is good. Oh no, I muted my Discord mic. My bad. I'm still over here blabbering, doing my thing. Hold on. Kobe White 6.7K. He's gonna chuck a lot of threes. I don't know if I like him over, but if you wanted to make a points per dollar case, that's fair. Blazers just lost to the Warriors. I was saying the Blazers' defensive efficiency is just not great, right? Schroeder or Levert, snap call. My son DJJ in play. Derek Jones Jr. Maybe, probably not for me, but maybe. He did just go bananas on the slate. That is the epitome of Derek Jones Jr. basketball, right? By the way, 33 followed with 3. So, yeah, 18 lines out of 21 cash yesterday. I'm ready for 2-day winning streak. Let's go. CJ over Dame for peripherals. I can see that. Dame's dropping 70. I'm with that. Only Bulls in my lineup tonight is value plays, Denzel Valentine and Daniel Gafford. It may kill me if Levine, White, and OP and Otto Porter go off. Valentine and Gafford. So I guess I can understand Gafford to an extent. He's so cheap. You know, as long as they got half the team on COVID protocol, yeah, maybe he's getting enough minutes there, but are we buying enough ceiling here? Like 22 minutes against the Wizards. It is what it is there. I don't know. Yeah, it may kill you. I think Covington or Melo are good plays. I think matchup-wise they could what is this noise I'm hearing? Runday Fest, what's up? Attaining some of my volunteer writers to take your website to the next level? What? What am I, bro, fam? About to obtain son of this block button, bro. Get out of here with that. Put user in timeout. Think about what you've done. Spamming a perfectly good Christian Minecraft chat. What else we got? Who gets 50? Who gets 50? Gobert or Mitchell? If I had a bank on one, it would be Gobert. Yankees are the reason my tag is pinstriped. Yes, sir. Nurkic could get there in 25 minutes. He could, but you're asking for a lot. But like I get it. If you're at the Nurkic slot machine, you're pumping quarters in. The Bulls have just been a matchup to take advantage of. So don't let me get you off of Nurkic. I just personally probably don't get there. Colby's ceiling is like 35. I disagree. Colby can get red hot. I do think if Colby's having his massive ceiling game, it might take away from Levine. So maybe not a ton of overlap. What is this banging I'm hearing, bro? It's like somebody's in the vents or something. Locking in Drew Eubanks if LaMarcus is out again at 3,200. Okay. We are putting some makeup on Eubanks and Daniel Gafford.
Yeah, it's a lot of these names I'm not even thinking about. I'm like, okay.
I don't think I'm down there. But I get it, man. Put it on out there. Go for it. Gay or Batum or Royce? I'm going Nick Batum. Irving, Murray, CJ Levine, Porter, Harris, Covington, JaMychal Green, Allen on FanDuel. It's very contrarian. Just Jared Allen alone would get you running opposite the field, but I understand the case for every single play. I kind of do I like what is Allen's price on FanDuel? Allen is 58. Is there a world where I like Enes Kanter over Jared Allen?
Stop.
If I get 22 to 25 minutes of Enes Kanter against the Chicago Bulls,
I mean, he's the Bulls.
22 minutes is probably almost 30 fantasy points. So I love me some Kanter, bro. I love me some Kanter. Gun, who's your favorite small forward on FanDuel? Just in total? What time is it? 4:36, guys. I almost have to get into voice chat. Otto. I like Otto Porter. Joe Harris is really probably too cheap here. He's probably going to take 15, 20 shot attempts. And then Will Barton and Colin Anderson. I think Colin Anderson still has a lot of usage to it's his to lose until further notice. So I don't mind chasing him. Also think D'Anthony Melton's back in the mix, and then they lost John Concher. So like if you thought that game really blew out, D'Anthony Melton for 100K to first might help you out. Kobe put up 40 DKP versus Washington, so I'm sure he can do it. Yeah, Kobe's had massive games. Washington sucks on defense, and so far the Blazers, right? Yesterday I went Stewart backup center for Detroit and got 12. Don't do it with Eubanks. I wouldn't get, if you're going to get cute somewhere, center is a really volatile position to give up just because so many centers are probably going to give you 40, 50 on a nightly basis to just completely throw your hands up with like a Drew Eubanks or a Daniel Gafford or something like that. There's a lot of risk there. Carmelo plays well against the Bulls, blah, blah, blah. All right, guys, I have to get into the customer voice chat. I have a financial obligation to be there for them, so I have to get out of here. But we'll be back in the mix tomorrow. NBA schedule. Before you guys get out of here, if you would help me out, hit that thumbs up before you leave, and maybe double check, make sure you're subscribed. I didn't hear any new sub notifications. I don't know if it's working correctly. Tomorrow we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 games. So 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central will be tomorrow's stream time. If you guys want to hang out, just know I'm going live an hour earlier than I did today. So 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Other than that, I'll be in the RunDFS.com VIP voice chat up until lock, making some lineups. I'm going to be dressing up my player pool. If you guys just kind of want to see where I land, I'll have this all dressed up here. It'll probably take me another 30 minutes. My tier 1s, 2s, 3s, and stuff like that. So come check this out. Go to RunDFS.com. Get yourself a VIP pass. Get joined up. And have some fun with this, man. I definitely appreciate you guys watching, making the stream another success. You guys have been crushing it. If you guys got anything else for me, twitter.com/GundackerSports. Otherwise, good luck. God bless. And go win some money.